Imagine this. You're standing in front of someone you like, and you have perfect arguments in your head. You're ready to explain logically why you're right for each other, why it all makes sense. But the words get stuck in your throat, and your brain screams. Say something smart, and what happens? Nothing. Because while you're trying to be logical, someone else has already captured their attention. Not with arguments, with feeling. Today you'll understand why your mind is not your weapon in the world of people. It's your main weakness. We live in an illusion. We're told, be rational. Think with your head, not your heart. Make decisions based on facts. And you believe it. You think that if you prove your value with logic, people will see you. But here's the truth no one will tell you. People don't make decisions with reason. They make them with emotions and then justify them with logic. This isn't an opinion. This is neurobiology. When your brain receives information, it first passes through the limbic system. This is the ancient part of the brain responsible for emotions and survival. Only then, if at all, does the cortex activate, the part where your logic lives. But the decision has already been made. At the level of feeling, at the level of instinct. And your beautiful arguments, they come too late. That's why a woman doesn't choose the one who proves his reliability, but the one who makes her feel something. That's why a man isn't interested in the one who's logically perfect, but the one who creates a storm inside. Emotions are the language of attraction. Logic is the language of justification. Let's dig deeper. First insight, the frame of value. When you try to convince someone of your value, you've already lost. Because explanation is an admission of weakness. It's a signal. I'm not sure you see it yourself. Imagine a man who tells a woman, I'm a good person, I have a stable job, I've never cheated. Sounds reasonable? Yes. But what does she feel? Desperation. A need for approval. Now imagine another one. He doesn't explain anything. He simply exists with an inner confidence that needs no proof. He makes her feel tension, interest, curiosity. Who does she choose? The one who triggered an emotion, because emotion is reality, and logic is just a story we tell ourselves afterwards. Second insight, the illusion of control. You think that if you calculate everything, the world will become predictable. You build arguments, plans, strategies. But here's what you don't understand. People don't want predictability in relationships. They want to feel. They want risk, uncertainty, play. When you're too logical, you become boring, safe. And in a world where attraction is built on emotions, safety is death. Think about the last conversation that hooked you. Was it when someone was stating facts? Or when someone made you feel something? Anger, passion, excitement, fear. Emotions create connection. Logic creates distance. Your brain deceives you every day. It makes you think you control your decisions. But research shows the subconscious makes a decision 7 seconds before you become aware of it. 7 seconds. You've already chosen. You've already felt. And then your cortex kicks in and says, here's why it was logical. This is called rationalization. You buy an expensive thing because it triggered a feeling of status, power, desire. And then you tell yourself it's a good investment. You fall in love with someone because they activated your deep emotional triggers. And then you say, we're so compatible in our interests. See the pattern? Emotion leads. Logic follows. Third insight, the power of vulnerability. Logic builds walls. Emotions open doors. When you try to be rational about everything, you create a barrier. You protect yourself. But communication, real connection between people, requires vulnerability. It requires you to show what you feel, not just what you think. Men especially fall into this trap. We're told from childhood, don't show weakness. Be strong, be logical. And we learn to hide our emotions behind a facade of rationality. But women don't feel connection with a facade. They feel connection with a person, with someone who's not afraid to show a moment of doubt, passion, anger, because that's real, that's alive. When you control yourself too much with logic, you become a robot. And no one falls in love with a robot. Fourth insight, emotional anchors. Your brain doesn't remember facts. It remembers feelings. You don't remember exactly what your ex-partner said in that argument 5 years ago, but you remember how you felt. Pain, hurt, anger, or joy, excitement, happiness. This is called emotional memory, and it's thousands of times stronger than logical memory. That's why the best manipulators don't use arguments. They use emotions. They make you feel fear, guilt, desire, and you do what they want, thinking it was your decision. But understanding this mechanism is your power. When you realize that emotions control everything, you can choose to be their slave or their master. You can start asking the question, what am I feeling right now, and why? Not to suppress the emotion, but to understand it, because a conscious emotion loses power over you. Fifth insight, authenticity wins. The biggest mistake is thinking you should hide your emotions to appear smart. But here's the paradox. People with the strongest charisma aren't those who are rational. They're those who are authentic. They're not afraid to show what they feel. They don't hide behind a mask of logic. And that's exactly why people are drawn to them, because authenticity creates trust. And trust is the foundation of any attraction. When you speak from the heart, people hear. When you speak from the head, people analyze. And analysis isn't attachment. It's evaluation. And there's no passion in evaluation. Listen carefully. Logic doesn't make you weak if you use it correctly. But if you think it will replace emotional impact, you'll keep losing again and again. In relationships, in career, in any sphere where people matter. Because people don't buy your logic. They buy how you make them feel. This isn't a call to become irrational. This is a call to become whole. To unite mind and emotions, not choose one over the other. Because wisdom isn't the absence of emotions. It's understanding when to use them. Real power is in knowing. Logic explains the world. But emotions create it. So next time you want to convince someone with arguments, stop. Ask yourself, what do I want them to feel? Because that's the only thing that matters. And remember this, you don't lose when you feel. You lose when you forget that feeling is what it means to be human. And humanity always defeats cold calculation. Always.